Wondermous, a healthcare leadership journey. Welcome. My name is Merikay Hunt, and I'm founder of Coach MK Companies. We're a firm dedicated to creating catalysts for change and helping leaders and their teams go to the next level of performance. Today, I'm excited to bring a new guest to our session, Ihab Shahawi, and one of the most intelligent guys I have met in a long time. So why don't you share with us a little bit about who you are and your background?
Hi, Mary Kay. Nice to be on your show. It's a pleasure. My background is in behavioral psychology. I have my degree from UCLA in undergrad psychology and a master's degree as well. And then I also have an MBA from UCLA. UCLA Anderson School of Management. And my career has been psychology based for a very long time, over 30 years. I've been in the field working with children and adults with autism and other intellectual and developmental disabilities. My work has been around that field for a long time, and that's what I studied in undergrad, actually, at UCLA, and have made it my career.
So what do you feel in your heart and your spirit and your mind really led to the inspiration to be in that field and to be a difference maker in the field?
Well, I've a couple of things. One, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to have my own business. I started my first business when I was 12 years old and sold it at 15 when we moved from New Jersey to California. And so I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. But then I found my passion for what I wanted to study when I was at UCLA my freshman year. I went in there actually on a pre-med basis. I was going to study medicine supposedly, but I took a psychology class and I just fell in love with psychology. And then a couple of years later, in my junior year, I took a course in behavior modification. And once I started learning from the professor I had at that time was Dr. Ihab Shahawi, who was the person who basically took all the research that had been done to that day in behavioral studies by Dr. B.F. Skinner and others, and said, I can use this. I believe I could use this to help children with autism. So let me figure out how to do that. So he set up a center at UCLA. All the research that had been done previously, he studied it. He worked with others to refine his theories, and then he created what he called behavior modification at the time, which was an approach to how to manage people's behaviors through strategic trainings and skill development and redirection and guidance and so forth in order to change their behaviors. And when I started in that class, he said, hey, I have a clinic, it's upstairs, and any of you interested in learning more about behavior modification, come up and take a tour. So I did, and I just fell absolutely in love with it. He was working directly with children, making differences in their lives and their families' lives right there. And there were no services of this type in the world at the time. And this is what eventually became applied behavior analysis, the field of applied behavior analysis, which I'm so grateful to have been right at the beginning of that process or that movement to help children with autism and others as well.
So I have to ask, what was your business that you had from 12 to 15?
I had a newspaper route.
Oftentimes when I'm meeting with leaders and different professionals, your work ethic starts at a young age, whether you are mowing lawns or you have a paper route or, you're working at a pool. And when you kind of look at your entrepreneurial skills, right? When we think about our core strengths or some of our professional strengths, what do you think has been kind of your edge, if you will, or the way that you've leveraged your background and your skills to have a successful business?
Well, I think any business to be successful, you have to have somebody driving that business. And that drive comes from a desire to be successful, a desire to be helpful, a desire to do something of high quality. There needs to be a desire. I mean, it's best if you have all those desires in one, And I believe that I encompassed a lot of that. I learned, um, my desire to have my own business came from when I was 12, came from the fact that I didn't have a bike. And I really wanted to
Mm,
have a brand new bike like other kids on the block. And
right.
my family didn't have the funds to be able to do that at the time. So I said,
Mm,
okay, if I don't, I looked at my bottle of coins and that wasn't enough. And I said,
right.
well, I need to fill this up. How am I going to fill it up? So I went out and asked a guy who was delivering newspaper. I said, "Well, how are you making money doing this?" He said, "I'm delivering newspapers. I go once a week and I pick up the money and I make a percentage of it." And so I said, "Oh, great, I could do that." So I called the local newspaper company. I said, "I'm looking for a newspaper route, and this is this is my address. Do you have anything available?" He said, "Well, actually, the person that was delivering in your neighborhood just quit."
Oh,
And
timing is everything.
it helps, right? But it helps to ask. If you don't ask, you'll never know. So
Absolutely.
I asked and I got the opportunity, and they said, okay, you've got 7 newspapers to deliver every day. I said, great. How does this work? So they explained it to me. They drop it off. I wrap them up. I drop them off. I go home. It's simple. Once a week, I go, I collect the money from those neighbors. I said, but seven, I realized I did that for a week. I said, well, 7 newspapers is not going to make me much money. I need to get more. So I asked somebody, how do I get more newspapers? He said, well, the people that you deliver to, ask them who their neighbors are and their
Nice.
names, and then you can go knock on their doors and say, hey, your neighbor so and so gets my newspaper, and I want you to get the newspaper. And he referred me over to you. So that's how I
Nice.
started learning networking skills and marketing skills and selling skills, and
There you
started
go.
reading all about that, everything I could. And then next thing you know, within 6 months, I was delivering over 365 newspapers. And
Wow.
I had to get my dad to help me drive around early in the morning so I could throw out the papers on the lawns every day. Otherwise, I
Well,
couldn't get.
having your dad help you probably inspired him to help with the bike.
Well, within 6 months, I had a brand new bike, and I was very happy. And
Nice.
I kept saving money and contributing to the household, and it was amazing. And then we decided to move to California from New Jersey, and I asked my dad, well, what do we do now? He said, well, let me talk to some of our people we know in town, see if anybody would like to buy this business from us. So he reached out to one of his friends, and his friend, yeah, I'll buy the business from you guys. And we
Wow.
negotiated a price, and we sold our newspaper business and moved to California.
So I'm curious, what did he do for business?
He was a banker at the time.
Okay.
He worked as an auditor in a bank in
Mhm.
central New Jersey. He used to work in New York City, but when we moved to New Jersey from New York, he got a job in a local bank in central New
Mhm.
Jersey. But he would
How
have.
did how did he influence your entrepreneurial journey?
He was somewhat of an entrepreneur himself. He always liked to start businesses and to
Mhm.
do. He did trading on the side,
Mhm.
other than his main job in the bank. He would do
Sure.
trading with other countries. Mainly, I'm originally from Egypt, and so he would
Oh,
do
okay.
trading between products between the U.S. and Egypt, and vice versa. So he did that for a while,
Nice.
and he partnered in a little convenience shop in our town in New Jersey with some other friends, and they opened a convenience shop, kind of like a 7-Eleven type thing. And
Yeah.
actually, that was my first official job before the newspaper route. I learned how to work there as a cashier at 12 years old, 11 years old,
Good for
cleaning up,
you.
organizing stuff on the shelves, and things like that. So I've always,
Oh, no, I think it's great. And when we first talked, I was just impressed and excited for you on the growth because your business impacts a lot of people, a lot of
yeah,
families, a lot of children. So, talk to me a little bit about how the growth happened, and then I want us to talk about some of your biggest challenges that you had as you grew.
sure, sure. Yeah, the growth happened. Well, I've been in the field since actually started my own business in the field in 1996. So it's a long time ago now, but started out with applying for a couple of homes. I'd had the experience with my education, and I'd worked for the company IABA, Institute for Applied Behavior Analysis, for a couple of years, and then embarked out on my own to start my own business. And I applied for a request for proposal through one of the agencies in the state, a regional center, and they were looking for somebody with expertise to bring teenagers out of state developmental centers into the community,
Right.
and to
Okay.
house them in the community. And I applied for that with my background and behavioral background and education and so forth. I got chosen.
Hmm.
So I ended up having to use lots of skills to get ready. Writing skills, we had to write program design, we had to apply to the state for licensing for the project. We had to find a couple of homes and get them fixed up and remodeled, and
Sure.
meeting all the required standards for the state in order to be approved. So I learned in the first couple of homes, learned that whole process, which was quite extensive, and just determination, and put my head down and I needed to know that I had to get this done, and figure
Sure.
it out every step of the way. So did that, and ended up opening this first couple of homes and got the teenagers out of the state hospital, and got them into the community and started implementing our program with them, our behavior management programs, and giving them a comfortable, nice home with nice home cooked meals all the time, and just outings and activities and support in school, and counseling and whatever they needed in order to be successful. So it's really a 360-degree picture of an
Sure.
individual assessment, and then practice of helping them and supporting them to be successful in the community. So we were able to
And
make
they
those
do,
transitions.
right. And they do live on site 24/7 for
Yes.
most of your sites, correct?
Yeah. We ended up building, not building, but getting these homes, fixing them up in the communities, and they lived there 24/7. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
would go home for weekends if there was family members close by that they could
Mm-hmm.
visit with or could manage them at home.
Mm-hmm.
Others stayed 24/7 with us.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a long process. And then each year, we did such a good job with the first two homes. Each year, the agency started asking us to open more homes for more kids.
Wow.
That's how we started growing. And then I applied for more
Mm.
RFPs and different other services, in-home support services. We did adult behavioral day programs, crisis homes for children and for adults who were really extremely in crisis, and to prevent them from going to state locked hospitals or locked facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have these very specialized locations to care for them, so to prevent them from going into these locked locations. And we did
What's
this
your
for 5 years and kept growing and growing.
right?
Until after 5 years, we didn't want to, we couldn't do the 24/7 grind anymore, my wife and I. So we decided to sell the 24/7 homes and kept some of the
Okay.
other services, which we still have and are still growing those.
Okay. And what's your footprint? Where are all your locations now?
We're heaviest in Southern California,
Okay.
from Ventura all the way down to San Diego, the border.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we're in other states as well. We're in state of Washington, we're in Las Vegas, we're in Kansas City, we're in the Detroit, Michigan area, we're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. We're all throughout the state of New Hampshire, part of Vermont, upstate New York. So we're in about 9, 10 states right now, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, providing services mainly to children, but also in California, we provide some adult services in the
Okay.
form of supported living and supported employment services for adults. But the rest of our services in all the other locations are mainly children with autism or other intellectual disabilities, and
Mm-hmm.
we provide them services in our centers, or in their family's home, or in their schools. A
Okay.
variety of those
So
locations.
from a business and or leadership perspective, what do you think is one of your biggest challenges that you've had to face in your career?
The biggest challenge, probably from day one, that I did not expect was how difficult it would be to manage other people,
Oh, wow.
employees. That's the biggest challenge, and still was and still is. Yeah,
So,
employees have been a challenge in many different ways. Not having
mhm,
enough is a challenge. Not
sure.
having quality is a challenge. People who don't want to
Mhm,
do a good job are not going to work for us. Um,
mhm,
People always want increases in pay and more benefits. So we try to get as many benefits as we can for employees, and we try to
sure.
have as high of a pay as we can in order, and still be able to survive and have at least a few dollars over at the end of the at the end of the pay period. But
Well, and staffing is such a universal issue in so
yeah,
many realms. And last year I spoke to several medical group manager associations across the United States, and I'd often ask, the audience, I'd say, what's been your biggest challenge? And the majority of people would say staffing,
yeah,
and alluding to many of the factors that you just shared. And I'm
right,
curious, what kind of came to my heart when you were sharing that is that it's critical for you to have people on the team that believe in the mission of service and of helping these people. And if they
absolutely.
have that, that can be a driver to their success. So it's really
Yeah,
about screening and making sure you recruit the people that are on board with the impact that you all are making.
yeah, absolutely. That's the most important thing. I used to say I don't care how educated a person is or how many years of experience they have, but it's really what's
Mm-hmm.
in their heart. Do they really want to work with the children? Do they really want to give it their all? And if we find somebody like that, we could teach them how to do everything. They don't need to have
Right.
experience. They could learn all the basics of our approach and our policies and our processes and so forth. But they've got to have it in their heart that that they're giving to somebody else. That it's all
Absolutely.
about
I
people.
was,
All our service is about people and helping
yes.
people, and you got to have that in your heart. If you don't have that in your heart, it's never going to work for you.
I was talking to an administrator in oral surgery a couple of weeks ago, and she said, "Mary Kay, I like to hire people that work in the food service business because if they've waited tables, they know about customer service, they know about workload, and they know about getting it done." And I thought, and
Yeah,
she said the same thing. If we have the right person, we can train them and we can
yeah,
help them gain the skill set, but it's got to be the right person.
absolutely. Yeah,
So,
I agree.
so as you look forward, my question now is, what do you want to see in place in the next 2 to 5 years that you feel like will continue to make a positive and purposeful impact?
From our company perspective, what we'd like to see is regulatorily, we want to be able to continue to serve people with autism and other diagnoses. It's
Mhm.
really important that services and rates for services stay where they are or improve, not go in reverse. So,
Sure.
with the political climate nowadays and the financial budget climate in California, particularly, not
Right.
looking very good, there are some threats to that we'd
Mhm.
like to see that kind of smoothed out and having services to people that really need services be a priority. And so that's an
Sure.
important basis for our entire field, not just for our organization. For
Right.
us as an organization, we constantly are looking for ways to improve quality, to continuously train our people, to
Mhm.
look for other avenues where we can be of support and service.
Mhm.
We actually set up a couple years ago. I set up a foundation called the IABA Research and Education Foundation, which is really an educational foundation for teaching others in the field the 40 years of past experience that we have and everything that we learned from my mentors and putting that into packages of training that could be beneficial to others.
Oh, I love it. So my final question for you is, if you could give your younger self some words of wisdom, what would you say?
That's a good question. I would tell myself that have faith,
Mm,
that stick to your path, stick to your guns, stay on your area of within your area of focus, and do your best to be the best, and everything
mm.
else will take care of itself.
Absolutely. Stay the path, have faith, and
Yes.
do your best to be the best. This has been a pleasure. I am grateful for you sharing with us about your leadership and your innovative healthcare journey to make an impact for others. And blessings to you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
So this concludes our episode of Wondermous, a leadership healthcare journey. I do hope that you'll like and subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like to learn more about how to take your leadership and your team to the next level, please visit coachmk.com. That's coachmkay.com. Blessings to you and make every day count.